Hi, I'm JR from Pig Destroyer. I scream and yell at you.
Beautiful. Wonderful. It's been over 15 years since your last visit to Australia. What finally brought Pig Destroyer back?
The when you have people in a band who are as busy as we do, it's just hard to get all the stars to align. And a Australian tour is a massive undertaking. There's a lot of flights, and oh, I think my cat's trying to attack me over here. It's a lot of flights and having things that you got to get organized.
Yeah.
We're just really excited that we could get Wormrot on the tour and hit some of the towns that we didn't do last time,
Yeah.
which will be very, very cool.
Yeah, so awesome. And with Wormrot, how did that come about? How did you decide that they were going to support you guys?
Oh, I'm not sure who originally came up with the idea, uh, but we've known those guys for many years, and we played some shows with them, and just they've been one of the top grindcore bands I think in the world for the last 10 years or so. So it's a great band to have along.
Yeah.
Just have to make sure they don't blow you off the stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're pretty
You don't want to
intense.
bring a band on tour who's too good.
That's right. And your live shows are known for their sheer intensity. How do you mentally prepare for that level of chaos, if
I
any?
mean, it's grindcore. You just have to go all in. You have to push all your chips in.
Yeah.
If you can't expect the audience to become invested if you're not invested. So it's an energy thing. The crowd can tell when you're phoning it in.
Yeah, 100%. Do you feel like it's a symbiotic relationship, like you feed off the energy of the crowd as well?
Oh yeah, well that's what makes just punk and metal music special. Is the audience is just as much a part of or in certain cases like the Obscene Extreme Festival in Czech Republic, like sometimes the audience is the show.
That's
You know, so I just love that. I mean, I love all kinds of music, but there's no experience that's quite the same as a death metal grindcore show.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And Pig Destroyer's sound strips metal to its rawest form. Has that approach evolved or deepened with time for you guys?
I think our approach has remained pretty much the same. I think we just always want to try to write the craziest thing that we can write, and we don't really care about how many records we sell. We never have. So we just try to make something that we're happy with, and then when we get a chance to play it live, we try to play it as hard as we can.
Yeah. Something that's funny about you guys is that with your lyrics, they're really deep and intense oftentimes, and they can delve into some pretty bleak territory. But seeing past interviews with you guys and seeing you guys on stage, you all look like the loveliest people ever. Where do you find the inspiration for such visceral themes?
I mean, well, I think there's a few different parts to it. I think that with the type of music, I think you try to gravitate towards darker, kind of more transgressive sort of subject matter, because it's just strange, to. I mean, I know that there's bands out there who do this, like the kind of tree huggy bands who want to write about nature and whales and stuff, and that's cool. But we like to try to keep it like dark and kind of death metal-y,
Yeah.
but live we're just a bunch of idiots, really, and we can't cover that up. So when we play live, then you kind of see us for what we really are.
Yeah, yeah. I think you've just created a new genre as well, by the way. That would be so interesting to see a metal band talk about hippie stuff in their lyrics. Like that would be that's
Well,
great.
there's a slam death metal band that we played with in Switzerland,
Yeah.
and their name escapes me at the moment, but I think they started out like with the typical kind of gore stuff, but now they just sing about surfing.
Oh my
You
gosh.
know, and they have surfboards on stage, and they play in swimsuits, and that's their thing.
That's their thing. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check them out.
I feel bad. I wish I could remember their name, but I think they had the name before the surfing thing came up because it doesn't really like jive, you know.
No, that's crazy. And do you ever surprise yourselves with just how dark your songwriting can get?
I mean, I don't like necessarily try to make it dark. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm glad people think it's dark. You know, uh, but I have to have there has to be more to something than just shock value.
Yeah,
You know, like I don't ever really write something just because I want to unnerve somebody. Like there has to be some sort of like emotional thing or something real attached to it that makes it resonate. Like that's why people, I think, respond to it. You know what I mean? It's if I just write about a bunch of dark shit that I don't care about, then I can't really expect anybody else to care about it either. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, that's exactly right. And that's why I think your music does resonate with people because, as you said, it's not just about the shock factor. You're actually saying something within those lyrics as well. It's not just, yeah, gore for the sake of
Well,
gore or shock.
you know, music makes an emotional attachment to people. That's why they take it so seriously.
Yeah.
You know, and when you find a band or a song or an album that I'm sure you know the feeling when you throw it on and you just know you're like, these are my people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's like you've already heard it 1,000 times because it was like it was made just for you. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And that sort of connection is not something that happens. You know, it might only happen one in every 1,000 records you hear, but when it does happen, it's worth it. It makes it all worth it. You know.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And do you have any past memories from your time here in Australia? I know it was quite a while ago now, but do you have anything that sticks out?
Um, Playing in Tasmania was really awesome. That was a really wild time. Uh, Playing with Blood Duster was amazing. You know, we got to play with Extortion for the first time when we played in Perth.
Cool.
And Australia has always had such a great grindcore scene. So that's probably the thing I'm most excited about is just to see some of the opening bands and and hopefully meet some of the guys that I've been following their bands for a while.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, awesome. And you guys have carved out legendary status in Grindcore. Do you feel pressure to live up to that each time you release new material?
No, I just think I know that we're all going to put in the work. So we're not going to put out something that we don't stand behind 100%. So yeah, I don't really worry about it. You know, it's really just a matter of making it happen in a reasonable amount of time. You
Yeah.
know, and having our last album was out in 2018. That's not really a reasonable amount of time. So you know, we're into the unreasonable amount of time zone now.
Is that a hint at possibly even more material coming soon, or?
Yeah, we want to have a record out by the end of next year. We're going to try everything we can to make that happen. You know,
Yeah. Oh, wicked.
we don't want the next record to be the 10th anniversary of the
Yes,
previous record.
that's right.
That's you know, I guess it's cool when Tool does it, but I don't know if it's cool when we do. You know what
It would be. And in an age where metal is more polished than ever, how important is it to preserve that rawness that Pig Destroyer thrives on?
Oh, that's like preaching the gospel right there. I think there's so much. I'm that guy who I don't like click tracks. I don't like Pro Tools. I don't like overdubs.
Yeah.
I want everything to sound like a band in a room, like and honest.
Hmm.
You know, because I think that the best music is flawed music. You know, and when things are too perfect, it just becomes Katy Perry to me, and like I don't care if it's death metal. It's just it's pop music at that point because it sounds like it's made by aliens or something. It doesn't sound like it's made by people. You know what I mean? And that's and now we're getting into like the era of AI and like God knows the abominations that we're all going to have to put up with.
Yes, yes, good point. So, in saying that, does it usually take you guys, when you are recording in the studio, does it take you guys very little playthroughs to get a song down and write something that sounds right to you guys?
I mean, the last two albums that we've done, I did all my vocals in one day. So I typically I do one take or two takes. Like if it's more than that, then I'm not. It's not right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it has to be like from the hip a little bit. You
Mm,
know, because I think you have to be really careful with a studio is a very stale, kind of sterile environment. You know what I mean?
definitely.
And it's sort of like hanging out in a hospital or something like that. It's never the place that you really want to be, but yet you have to be there and make it happen. And if you stay there too long, then it'll drive you crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And things can, I think what you're saying is things can sound a bit too polished.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I would never try to aspire to polishness. You
Yeah.
know, I think that the dirtier and the more raw that it is, the more real that it sounds.
Yeah.
Like the best. Some of my favorite albums are by bands that don't even sound like they're playing the same songs sometimes because they're playing so fast and it's so out of control that you can't fake that sort of stuff. It's just that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah,
Is
definitely.
sort of that push the push and pull of the order and the chaos.
Yes.
When everything is too ordered, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Definitely. And I think it also doesn't translate well sometimes to a live performance as well. If things are too polished, it's like, how can you ever capture that live?
Well, I mean, if it was up to me, all of our albums would be recorded live in front
Yeah.
of an audience because I think that's how you would get the best thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the MC5's first album is a live album, and it's a ripper. You know what I mean? I don't know why more people don't do it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I've got you thinking for the next album then. A live one.
It's good. Scott handles the production stuff. He doesn't, you know,
Fair enough.
like he'll let me run my mouth, but at the end of the day, he's the one that's
That's all.
he's the
Yeah.
one that's recording the band.
Yeah. And you're sharing the stage with Wormrot. What's your take on their sound and ferocity?
I mean, they're just a great band, just very exciting to watch live. And they get the crowd worked up, like, and really excited. The first time that I saw them play at Maryland Death Fest, they had been trying to come over for a couple of years, and then they finally made it. And the crowd was just so excited to see them, and like they just got such great energy. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, hell yeah. And are there any other newer grind or extreme bands you feel are pushing boundaries like Pig Destroyer once did?
Oh yeah, there's a ton of them out there. Kind of mind blowing actually.
Yeah.
I'm doing a I'm doing like a small label where I've been putting out CDs and stuff. One of the CDs we just did is by a band called Mellow Harsher.
Mad.
They actually have a split with Internal Rot, who are from Melbourne.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and they're a ripping grindcore band. And if you haven't heard Sex Prisoner, Sex Prisoner is the they're the new alpha dog to me. Like I haven't seen a grindcore band heavier than them yet. So
Ooh,
so,
interesting.
so somebody else is going to have to step up to the plate.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. They sound good. And if someone was completely unfamiliar with Pig Destroyer and they showed up to one of your shows, what do you think would hit them first?
Ooh, well, usually what happens is if you're a newbie, you see like the mosh pit,
Yeah.
and if you've never encountered a mosh pit before, it's very jarring,
Yeah.
for people who have just gone to like a conventional kind of concert. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that I feel like that's the first thing that jumps out at you. But then it's also a volume thing. Like you want to have it so loud that it becomes a physical act as opposed to just like tickling your eardrums a little bit. Like you want to feel it, like kick you in the chest a little bit, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Get like a full body experience, I think.
Like when I saw Ice Cube, I was so close to the stage, and the subwoofers were so crazy that my eyeballs were shaking for 10
Shaky.
minutes after the show was over. Like, you know, I couldn't even see straight, you know.
Yes, yes.
But that's what you want, you know what I
That's
mean, when you see that kind of thing, you know.
that's what makes it sometimes as well, is that experience. I went to a festival last year and I saw, I don't know if you know them, but Electric Callboy. And I was right up the front and the pyro was just hitting me in the face, but I was enjoying it. It was the best time ever. And after all these years, what still drives you to create music that's this intense and unrelenting?
That's just all we've ever aspired to do. You know, we never wanted to be a popular band. We just wanted to be a crazy band.
Yeah.
And we all like all kinds of different music, but like I think there's just a certain itch that grindcore scratches that nothing else can scratch. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Would there be any surprises to the type of stuff or genres you listen to that fans may not know about? That would be a surprise.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really a big dance music guy, but other than that, I mean, I love reggae and country and you know, classical music, jazz.
Wow.
You know, I kind of dabble in a little bit of everything, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And I can imagine from the name of your band, how you guys perform, and your lyrics and everything, you must have received something a little bit strange or odd from a fan. Is there something that sticks out that you've been given by a fan?
Oh, you know, yeah, people bring me like some cool stuff, like little pieces of jewelry they make or pieces of art. I think, you know, one thing that was really weird one time was this guy wanted me to write some of my lyrics on his arm, and then he was going to go get them tattooed like the
Yeah.
next day. And I was like really fucked up, and I tried to plead with the guy. I was like, "Don't make me write
Don't
on
do.
your arm." Like, uh, and he wouldn't take no for an answer. And then you know the next day he sent us a picture of my horrible handwriting like all over his
Oh,
forearm. You know, so
oh dear.
you know, yeah, we got some wacky fans. You know,
Yeah, yeah. But so far, like, no animal remains or anything like that.
no, I
Good.
mean, if we were a little more like witchcrafty, maybe people would do that. But
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. I think you know people have written me letters or shown me like you know poems that they've written or you know just that we can inspire anything and anybody is very humbling for
Yeah.
us. You know.
Yeah, that's lovely. How does the original vision of Pig Destroyer compare to what the band has become today? And has anything surprised you along the way?
I mean, it's just strange that like the lineup uh, of people and just that you know the people that have come and gone or that we've lost. Uh, you know, and just trying to like stay true to the vision that me and Scott had when we started the band, and just you know, I think because we do it for you know, we just want to make music for ourselves and the fans, and we just try to keep it simple in that respect. You know, if you make it more complicated than that, then I think you're doing yourself a disservice. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Was it hard as well, after the passing to decide to keep going with Pig Destroyer? Or was that something that was always just meant to
Well,
happen?
well, no, because we had already continued because Blake, you know, Blake left the band, and you know, we didn't want him to leave the band, but it was just you know something that happened, and um, you know, and then a year later, you know, he passes away, and but it's kind of a I consider it a lifetime appointment. You know, he was always going to be part of the band in my heart. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, um, we're all just we're all close like brothers, and we fight sometimes, but um, you know, I'd take a bullet for any of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so lovely. Well, JR, we're so excited to see you guys here so soon. Thank you so much for your time today.
Of course, it's my pleasure.